Hello, everybody. Welcome to our LinkedIn audio event, Empowering the Future. I'm your host, Hannah Cool. I am a director in our PwC sustainability practice, and I'm also a co-founder of a startup called Rewired Earth, which I'm sure we will talk about during the course of this LinkedIn audio. I am so delighted to be joined by three guests today who I will hand over to introduce themselves in a moment. But before I continue, if any of you want to have captions, just click the three dots in the top right panel of your screen and you can just select captions there. Now, if you weren't aware already, we are currently on day 2 of the Global Young World Summit, which is this year coming to you from Bristol. One Young World is an amazing global network of young professionals supported by world-leading organisations and influential leaders. And this year we have our very own PwC exhibition stand at the summit, which is beautiful, by the way. It is big and bold, and we've got some amazing people presenting and speaking at our stand. So I can go on forever, but I'm going to hand over to my wonderful guests today. Dave, do you want to introduce yourself and what amazing business you work for?
Yes, certainly. So my name's Dave Linton. I am the founder and CEO of Madlug, which stands for Make a Difference Luggage. And basically what we do is we sell bags so that we can give bags to children and young people in the care system so that young people don't have to carry their belongings in bin bags or plastic shopping bags.
That is incredible. And you're at the summit today, is that right?
That's right. Yes, I'll be at the stand for most of the day.
Amazing. So we'll definitely talk about that. So now I'll just quickly hand over to Silvia and then Fiona to introduce yourselves as well.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for having us. So I'm Silvia. I'm the development manager at One Young World, and I help to create our various programs with governments, multilaterals, and civil society organizations. So these collaborations identify and bring a lot of the young leaders to the One Young World Summit, but also give them various development opportunities throughout the year.
Incredible, Silvia. Honestly, what you've done with Young World, like I was there yesterday and it was just such a buzz, and the people and the delegates there, it's incredible. Like, I think the phrase that I heard a lot from ex-delegates, so delegates from years gone by, where it's kind of like a life-changing experience and everyone is just full of the buzz of excitement for it. So honestly, it's amazing what you guys have done. Fiona?
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to PwC as well for hosting this this amazing event. My name is Fiona Regan. I'm an account executive here at the Global Partnerships team at One Young World. That basically means I'm primarily responsible for working with the amazing organisations such as PwC, Deloitte, and the list goes on, to kind of send their talent to attend the One Young World Summit as delegates from across the corporate and educational sectors and from across the globe. So obviously it's been amazing to see it all kind of come together in the last couple of days.
Amazing. And we'll spend some time today talking about our reflections from the summit so far, each of our biggest takeaways, and how businesses, like ours, can really take action for the next generation. For me, this is all about action and how we can make the world a better place. And I see lots of businesses talking the talk, but I want them to walk the walk as well, So I spent the day at the summit yesterday, and for me, there was just this huge feeling of engagement and excitement from every delegate that I spoke to, and I think what really surprised me is so many of the delegates that were there were working for not-for-profits, had side hustles and startups, and were so passionate about doing more. How much more can they do? And I think I reflected last night on my way home that actually, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough in the work that I do day to day? How am I driving the businesses that I work with to genuinely make a difference? Not tomorrow, not in a year's time, but yesterday. Dave, what about you? You've just turned up today. Does that resonate?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that every business has the potential to make huge social impact if we get our focus right. The profit isn't a bad thing, but it's a good thing for making a difference and changing lives for many people. So I'm totally committed to that.
Yeah, and you as a B Corp organization as well, you know, I think there is a huge focus on organizations being more transparent and thinking about purpose, right? So maybe you can tell us a bit about the journey that you've been on.
Absolutely. So we were one of Northern Ireland's first B Corps,
Wow.
and we are also a certified community interest company. So right at the core of our business, we exist only to help the community of children, young people, the incredible children, young people in the care system, and we have locked the assets to that. So we run business. We, as a B Corp, we want to be totally transparent. We also want to say that we're proper business. We are serious about doing business and using our profits to do amazing things. And to date, in the 8 years we've been going, we've been able to help 82,000 children, young people, move
Wow,
their
Dave.
belongings in proper bags at a cost of probably about £800,000 generated from just doing business. So that's what business can really do. And yet, you know, we have the same excitement, same fun, the same part of actually doing business every day. So it's not like we're losing out on some of that, but we're definitely about selling bags, telling an incredible story, and leaving a huge legacy of impact, because the children, young people in the care system deserve it, because they're incredible.
Dave, the difference that you make is so tangible and it's so amazing to see. And then, you know, you talked about being a community interest company, but actually, you know, the lessons that you have putting purpose at the heart of your business, you know, that's relevant for for-profit companies as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and that's where B Corp really comes in. I think, in that you know, not every business needs to be a social enterprise in a pure sense, but it can have transparency and commitment to a social purpose of using its profits for doing more, which is why I really love the B Corp movement. And so purpose is key. I think today's world, it's very hard to find somebody who wants to start a business without it impacting a social problem.
Yeah.
And I think more and more businesses will be purpose-led, social purpose-led businesses as we see society change and move into that.
I totally agree, Dave. And that's definitely the conversations I'm having with my clients and businesses. And actually, you know, the purpose of our PwC stand at One Young World is highlighting that purpose is at the heart of our business. So, you know, you're at our stand today as one of the social enterprises that we work with. And we have a different social enterprise that is on the stand with us every day this week. And we also have one of the businesses that's close to my heart, Rewired Earth, which is also a community interest company, so set up as essentially a not-for-profit, which is really thinking about how do we drive community activism and empowerment in telling businesses and governments what matters to us, using the Sustainable Development Goals as a common language globally around the different aspects and nuances of sustainability, which is a really big, broad, nebulous topic, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, my view on this all is that if business power, and if we can turn the power that we have into social purpose, we can actually shape a lot of political and government's decisions around stuff, because they look up and listen to the business world. So my heart and my aim is really to become an influence in the business world that makes significant changes in the landscape and the policy making of children and young people in the care system for us.
Dave, we are talking the same language. Honestly, it's so brilliant to listen to. And I'm just going to hand over to Silvia, Fiona, for your reflections from the summit so far. Has anything kind of really resonated with you?
Yeah, I mean, the energy of the summit so far has just been so positive. There's a real atmosphere of hope throughout the building. And I'll just echo what Dave is saying and what you're saying, Hannah. The businesses really have the power, and they're so important to really accelerate the impact of these young leaders. And even beyond the main stage sessions, I've been seeing some of these delegates getting involved in action sessions, workshops, and really being connected to business leaders. And that's kind of where the change is happening, right? They're at the decision-making table, they're having these conversations, and that's where they need to be, speaking to the leaders of the businesses. And as Dave said, there is also great power in the collaborations between governments and businesses. A lot of our One Young World programs are actually created with both sectors, cross sectors, and they've just been sharing best practices, and it's really just been a great atmosphere throughout the summit.
That's amazing. Love that. And Fiona, similar from you, or have you seen something else that's exciting in the rooms?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have to say, just to kind of build on what Silvia was saying, obviously it's been absolutely inspirational just to see how engaged these young leaders are and how driven they are to make a change, and how incredible and talented. I could honestly go on about our delegates forever. But in particular, I did actually have the privilege of attending a session yesterday that opened up a really inspiring conversation. It was actually between Lord Michael Hastings, Vilash Dar, and Halima Aden.
Oh, wow.
And they were essentially discussing the process of decolonizing global philanthropy, and talking a lot about how we can restructure our aid giving processes to help those who are most in need, such as the very fast growing refugee nation that Halima Aden is a member of. And that was just a massively inspiring and also just really fascinating conversations about, as you were saying, Dave, just really getting businesses involved to that extent where they can really get involved from a grassroots level and restructure that aid giving process, and get the resources where they are needed to be, and give people the space and the platform to access those resources as well. So that was just amazing. But we are on day 2 of main content. I do think that the best is still yet to come.
We'll have to do another one of these later in the week so we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the peace and reconciliation theme tomorrow, and all of the Good Friday agreement content that we have on offer. And I think it's going to be really amazing.
Awesome. And Silvia, do you want to give me a sense of some of the programs that you're working on that are supported by One Young World? And I guess what I'm super interested in is, are you seeing any trends in what future young leaders are telling you are their priorities, and how their kind of action list is changing over time?
Yeah, so I mean, we've had numerous programs this year with cities, governments, and central governments as well. We have a program with the government of Ecuador where we selected 24 young leaders, one from each province in the country, and they've been focusing on the themes of climate change, defending the rights of women, migration, and mental health. So those are some really key themes. And I think, just to reflect the plenary challenges, every year we select our key themes through a global consultation process. So we really want the One Young World community to tell us what they want to hear, tell us what are their priorities. We're not selecting the themes, they are. And I think 2 key themes at the moment, which we're seeing, which are really the priorities for young people, are the climate emergency and mental health, and particularly the links between these 2 themes. Climate anxiety is something which has really been touched on a lot in the past 2 days, and I'm sure we'll touch on again in the next 2 days. And I guess looking at the role of businesses, how can businesses really create a long-term solution and long-term strategy for sustainability? Not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, as you said, Hannah. So I think climate change and mental health has been really something that's stuck out to me in the past 2 days.
That's really interesting. So the Rewired Earth stand that we have as part of our PwC exhibition booth is asking the question, using our app, what of the UN SDGs, UN Sustainable Development Goals, do you care about the most right now? And climate action and no poverty are coming through really strongly as priorities for the delegates. And there are over 2,500 there. So we're hoping by the end of the week to have a real view of, what are the top priorities for all the delegates? And, how does that then change when we compare that to our global database of demographics, regions, localities? And that's so important in terms of giving people a voice to power, that says, this is what I want you to focus on. This is where I want to see change. And I don't think we have enough civil society engagement right now, which is accessible and totally democratic, like these sessions of bringing young leaders together are amazing, but how do we open up and then get the young leaders to drive action more broadly? You know, I think that's so powerful. And I think something that came across really strongly to me yesterday was challenge. You know, how do these young people challenge the status quo? You know, some of the work that we're doing is around disruption. So Dave, you know, you talked about putting purpose at the heart of profit-led businesses. And that, in a sense, is disrupting the model of businesses that have really dominated for the last 50 years. So challenge to me and empowerment is so, so important. And our young people want to trust the businesses that they're working for. So, you know, being so transparent is super important. Fiona, can I just come to you very quickly about how important societal environmental challenges are to young people and the value that, you know, they want to see employers, you know, really driving?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's fascinating that we keep coming back in this conversation to this idea of purpose,
Yeah.
especially because forgive me in advance, I'm going to get into some statistics in this answer because I think it's absolutely fascinating, especially because I was just reading the Deloitte Insights report for 2022 the other day, and essentially one of the key takeaways from that report is that we're looking at what the report calls a quote unquote purpose unleashed future. And that's where the relationship between the worker and the employer will be primarily driven by purpose rather than salary, rather than work satisfaction, or any of the other kind of usual contributing factors we're used to looking at when reviewing why people choose their workplace, which I think is which is just incredible and leads on to my next kind of point that in their review, they found that 44% of millennials and 49% of Gen Z said that they've made choices over what type of work they do, what they're prepared to do, and the organizations for which they're willing to work for based on their own personal ethics, which I think is just an incredible statistic showing how deeply this generation care about their organizations doing good, and about that value that businesses contribute to society as well.
Yeah.
You know, 86% of their global respondents also said that they expect their CEOs to speak out publicly about societal challenges. And as I said, I just think that gives us a really incredible indicator of just how much young people really value businesses that actively contribute to solutions. It's an amazing, there are some amazing figures.
Yeah, those stats are incredible. And actually, one of the questions that we've put in our Rewired Earth tool that we've given to all the delegates this week is, you know, what, if any, drop in salary would you accept from an organisation that is genuinely purpose-led and that you trust? And I'm so interested to see the results.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll get some really really amazing answers, and I think it will probably be quite surprising as well. I think, you know, so many people I've talked to on the ground at the summit have said the same thing as that report I was just quoting said, that they are willing to choose their workplace and prioritize the value that they contribute to society and the actual actions they're taking to challenge things like the Sustainable Development Goals and take their own initiatives.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the results that you'll get on that will be really interesting, probably quite surprising.
Well, I'll make sure to share them on LinkedIn so everyone can see.
Do.
Yeah, of course. And I think, you know, as we think about the rest of the week, you know, I know there's some amazing workshops that are going to be run, and one of them that really stood out to me was how we as consumers really have the power to influence and change how businesses operate through our buying choices, right? And, you know, for me in my role working with major organizations, you know, that almost comes as second nature in terms of how we think about strategy. But actually, when it comes to it, when you walk into a shop or you have the decision between blueberries from Kent or blueberries shipped in from Spain, you know, what decisions are you making? And obviously cost and accessibility will play a huge part in that, but we do have a role as consumers, don't we, day to day, to try and make better decisions. And I'm seeing that come through really strongly from the delegates. I don't know if Dave, you've got a thought on that.
Yeah, I think I mean our whole business has started from grassroots right up on the basis of people making decisions to purchase something that that makes a difference. What I've learned in the journey is that it's important that we have quality product, and because you want people to come back again, but also is that, I mean, for instance, one of the decisions that we've made is, we have product that lasts quite a long time, and so we've been had these tensions about what we make the products with. Is it important to have it, is it for us just about a marketing spiel of, this is more sustainable in the making, but it lasts a year, or what we have maybe isn't as sustainable, but it lasts 6, 7, 8, 9 years as a product, and to me that second is more sustainable. So we as a company, as a B Corp, are looking around this and going, okay, we're not just following trends because it's a trend, but we're actually saying what is better for the long term, even at a cost of it's not as positive in a marketing space. So we don't want to be social, greenwashing in many ways with this sort of stuff. We're really committed to that transparency, but people do make decisions on cost, on what something looks like, and the final thing is they make a decision on if it's going to make a difference. If it's a choice between two things, they will definitely make a different choice on the one that has the better impact.
Yeah, and that's an amazing message, Dave. And I guess one of the questions that I have off the back of that is, as a consumer, how do we understand where businesses are genuinely trying to do the right thing and making those purpose-led decisions, and really trying to be transparent? Looking for the B Corp logo might be one way, but finding ways to distill and go behind, if you like, organizational marketing to really understand, is this company doing the right thing, is another. What do you think?
I think, I mean, I think that the B Corp is a brilliant way, because there's no business that has a B Corp logo that hasn't had to get their memorandums changed. So there's a requirement to alter and secure and put some certification around that. So it's a real tough job. It took us a year to get our B Corp status, and that was us being a community interest company that had a lot of that in place before. So definitely looking for those marks, I think, are key. But it's really, I think, getting to the DNA of the business, really. How if we're talking, again, it's down to how we front the business. So some of the big global make some poor decisions around sustainability, but then they try and talk a social message. So it's being consistent, being transparent. I think, you just need to look into each company. But as a community interest company, as a B Corp, I think it's a great way to ensure transparency.
Totally agree. And thinking about how we mature, if you like, the reporting accessibility around what a truly sustainable company is something that we're looking at as well, and I think will mature in the market as we go, and B Corp will definitely be at the leading edge of that, I'm sure, along with others. So we're coming to the end of our time. This has absolutely flown by. So I just want to ask a final question to really kind of wrap up here and get each of your perspectives. So this is, the week of One Young World. There's lots of excitement, there's lots of passion, there's lots of engagement and ideas. But what do the delegates do, and what can they do beyond One Young World to really keep pushing business to do better, to deliver on the ambition of a more sustainable planet? What is there, and channels or actions that those delegates can take, and more broadly, right, anyone listening on the phone right now? Maybe if we go round, so I start with Dave, and then Silvia, and then Fiona.
Yeah, I think when you come to an event like this, it is amazing to be inspired to go back and resourced. And what I'd say to the delegates here is, you don't need to be the CEO of a company to make significant change in a company. Be leaders in your space, and start to implement your decisions on the social change that you need to bring, rather than waiting until or complaining that the leadership above you isn't making the right calls. Start making the calls in your roles. and bring the learning into that, because that will change, maybe in the long term change the organizations to really make an impact.
Oh, Dave, I want to give you a standing ovation. I am giving you a standing ovation, but you can't see. There you go. I couldn't agree more. I think we have all, and you know, I'm at fault from this as well, over a number of years, almost been trained to come into work and forget our personal values because we're making business decisions and commercial decisions. But I think now more than ever, it's really important to dig deep and remember what our personal values are as well as business values. And start bringing those together. I couldn't agree more. Silvia, what about you?
I'd say beyond the summit, the young leaders absolutely are going to harness these connections they've made. And as you've said, Dave, use their purpose as kind of a guiding star. What do they want to see from their employers? What do they want to see from the businesses they work for? And really be the change that they want to see in that business.
Love that. Love that. Fiona, last but by no means least.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just really want to build on what Silvia and Dave have been saying. I think beyond the summit, once young leaders kind of return to their businesses and their organizations, and they're so full of this energy and inspiration that they've had from the summit, and they want to obviously channel that and be the change, as Silvia was saying. My personal advice and what I've seen in the past couple of years with One Young World is I would really urge young leaders to kind of pick a passion project, as we were saying, you know, pick one of those sustainable goals that you want to reach, you know, whether it's something like fighting against period poverty, or whether it's you know, enhancing sustainability practices within your organization. Start that initiative, start that project within the business from the grassroots. Really make your voice heard, and maybe even start a committee, get a few people together, and really use that momentum from the summit to kind of propel that project and drive that forward. And we've seen so many of our young leaders do that in the past. I have absolute faith and belief that we'll see a lot of the same happening from the One Young World 2023 Belfast Summit as well.
Amazing. Well, Dave, Silvia, Fiona, I cannot believe how quickly time has flown. I have so enjoyed speaking to you guys. Dave, the work that you do at Madlug is amazing. Anyone that's listening now, please go and check them out. They are incredible. And Silvia, Fiona, for everything you've done to bring such amazing delegates together, run programs for the delegates that are really inspiring the future generation of leaders. Thank you. You know, from the bottom of my heart, I had the most amazing time speaking to the delegates yesterday and came away feeling super inspired and just with a whole new battery life of energy to just keep plugging away, fighting the good fight with the clients and businesses that I speak to. So thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No, of course. And thank you to everyone listening. Any questions, feel free to reach out, and hopefully we'll do this again soon. Well, with that, that's Hannah Cool and the team logging off. Bye,
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.